Hello and welcome to Cookbooks Live. I'm Steve Fries, your host. Today I've chosen a cookbook from my vintage collection to talk about. And I have thousands of cookbooks, of which many of them are vintage cookbooks. And people want to know, where do I collect them? Where do I get them? Well, eBay is a wonderful avenue for looking for vintage or heirloom cookbooks, as is the used bookstores and flea markets and tag sales. So those are places that you might want to use to collect your vintage cookbooks, as I do. You've all probably cooked or baked with this product over the years, or used perhaps one of the copycat substitutes for Bisquick. What I have in front of me is the 1964, the first edition of the Bisquick Cookbook, Recipes from Betty Crocker to Answer Your Requests. In this little book, there are more than 275 recipes. Yeah, 275 recipes. Of course, the obvious use of Bisquick is to make breakfast pancakes or waffles or obviously biscuits. But what about fried fish? Or what about pizza, a quick pizza pie? That sounds a little strange to me, perhaps something I wouldn't make too often, but I would at least try it. Perhaps you'll like it, and that's one of the recipes you will find in here, is to make a quick pizza pie. What I enjoyed in the book is the how to do sketches, some simple line drawings, and actually the photos in the book. There are many convenience ideas that are scattered throughout, which are helpful hints on how to cook using some simple hints that are provided. There's a chapter which I thought was cute in here, and that is using Bisquick in the woods or on a camping trip. And the comments that are written in the book by readers, or rather users of Bisquick, I thought were really charming, and I want to share some of those with you. Let's take a look at the first one. Oh, by the way, take a look at the interesting photography. You know, the photography back then was not as pure as it is today, but I think it's still a beautiful, beautiful photo of some of the foods that are prepared with Bisquick. And I'm going to read to you, as you're going to see in a moment, some of the wonderful letters, charming letters written by people. A little bit of Americana. Somebody from California wrote, "I almost couldn't cook without Bisquick, which I always use in gravies, as well as for muffins and shortcake, all of which my family requests frequently." Another person from Michigan wrote, "I think Bisquick is a lifesaver. I enjoy using it and hearing the praises of my cooking from family and friends." On page 55, somebody from California wrote, "I was introduced to Bisquick 6 years ago as a bride. A very dear friend gave me an assortment of baking dishes and a large box of Bisquick, and I've used it ever since." Somebody from Ohio wrote, "I am a retired bachelor, and I do my own cooking, much of it with Bisquick." And then on page 95, somebody from West Haven, Connecticut, "I thought you might like to know how very much we enjoyed our vacation at the Cape with Bisquick along. When a family went clamming, I even used our favorite to fry the clams. I introduced Bisquick to our summer neighbors too." So you can see a little bit of Americana, a little touching, and that's what really intrigues me about these cookbooks from way back. It's just the simplicity, it's just the down-home cooking, and you don't have to be a gourmet chef to cook. Bisquick takes out some of the complications, and it's a fun thing to read. Bisquick continued the tradition by coming up with later versions of their cookbook, and this one is only a couple of years old, perhaps 3 or 4 years old, and again, more and more recipes using this product. So the tradition lives on, Bisquick lives on, and for cooking, cookbookslive.com, I'm Stephen Fries.